Hi everybody, welcome back to The Recruiter. Retention. Retention, retention, retention. The numbers keep coming out almost daily, and I don't know if it's just I'm so attuned to looking at them or what, but it's just, it's a concern, and it's a legit problem. This constant turnover has got to stop. Depending on how you look at it, you're talking about even an average size store of 40, 45, 50 employees, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars with turnover. So to quote Stephen Covey in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, starting with the end in mind, we have to really look at what our ultimate goal is. And if our ultimate goal is to acquire top talent and retain that talent, it starts from the very minute we tell that person, we tell her she's hired. Here's what happens typically. Not all the time, but typically. So we tell Sally she's hired and start tomorrow. She gets up early, gets dressed, attitude's right. She's so pumped about starting at her new job at King Kong Motors. She walks into the building, she goes to the receptionist and says, "Hi, I'm Sally, and this is my first day, and Mr. Kong told me, to show up, and I'm 15 minutes early, and I'm ready to change the world." Mr. Kong comes out and goes, "Oh, wow, was today the day you were supposed to start? Oh man, this is the worst possible time for me. Well, geez, let's do this. Have a seat over there at one of the closing desks, and let me get you some paperwork." And out comes the paperwork. The stack's about that high. All the tax forms, compliance forms, background consent forms, drug testing consent forms, DMV, a stack of paper. Now, I've seen surveys that says that act alone, filling out that stack of paper, is a 30-minute to a 2-hour ordeal. So now we've brought in an employee. She's been hired. He's been hired. She or he has got there, ready to go, ready to rock, pumped up, and we start them off with a pile of paperwork. Okay? Then the next thing is, well, maybe not the next thing, but one of the things that, and there's a point to this, logins. Got to use the CRM, got to use the CRM, got to use the CRM, got to use the CRM. Our CRMs, we got to be perfect in our CRM. No logins. So it's good. We got to find somebody now. King Kong, he's done. So he matches you up with somebody that maybe he's going to be able to find somebody else that's going to be able to give you the logins for you to ultimately be able to do your job. Then, after all that's done, it's about lunch. So Mr. Kong comes out and say, "Hey, look, you know what? It's noon. Why don't you get a bite to eat, and then we'll get into some training once you get back from lunch." They go eat, and they're thinking, "Geez, man, this isn't exactly what I thought it was," and but he's busy. I understand. Mistakes happen. You come back. Now, Mr. Kong, the GM, GSM, whomever, the department head, he forgot he sent you to lunch at noon, and be back at 1, and he went to lunch at 1. So you're standing around for another hour. Now it's 2 o'clock before he gets back. "Oh shoot, I'm sorry." Whatever the excuse is. Here, you know what I want you to do? Pete, come on over here for a minute. Pete, this is Sally. Take Sally upstairs and, turn on our online training modules and watch those. Now, I'm not going to go. There's some good. There's some that are less than good. But at any rate, to start the employee that way, in my opinion, isn't the greatest thing. So it's 5 o'clock or so. Your eyes are bleeding from watching these training tapes or videos. And you go downstairs and, "Mr. Kong, what do you want me to do next?" "Well, you know what, Sally, it's 5 o'clock. Why don't you go ahead and knock off for the end of the day and Tomorrow we're going to really get at it. And so glad to have you aboard. Sally goes home, and her significant other at home is, how's your, what's the first question going to be? How was your first day at work? Well, it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. I think, just so I have a plan B, I'm going to put my resume back out there and retake a look at some other things. My point is this, that a large percentage of your new hires that ultimately turn into turnover, they've quit the first day, third day, the first week. They've mentally quit. Their body might stay there for 30 or 60 days, but they've quit. Now, let's turn let's go, no, okay, Craig, that's the problem. What's the solution? Here's the solution. Electronic onboarding. There's software, all you gotta do is Google it. I'm not gonna suggest anybody in particular, but there are a bunch of companies, just go by price, because all the software is very similar. They can do all of that, most of that, prior to Sally starting. Get her the logins. Have her fill out all the tax forms and everything else online, electronically. Do as much as you can electronically prior to her starting. So when she walks in that building, and Mr. Kong or Ms. Kong has got to know that Sally's starting that day. Then we can start developing that employee right from jump. Introduce her to every single department head in the dealership. Have her spend an hour with every single person in every department in the dealership so she can see the total synergy that's involved in a car dealership. Because most people don't know. This might sound crazy. Why can't we throw a little party for Sally? A couple boxes of donuts, everybody gets around, shakes her hand, welcomes her to the dealership. Everyone says how great it is that she's now part of the team. Now she leaves, she goes home. Her significant other goes, so how was your first day? My first day? It couldn't have been better. They threw me a party. It was unbelievable. I think that this is the kind of career that I've been looking for and I can be successful at. Now, I don't have any data to back this up, but if you think about it, just use common sense. If you take those two examples that are pretty extreme in how different they are, wouldn't you agree that just that, now there's more to it, but just that could reduce your turnover by 15, 20, 25%? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you and burn this into your brains, that new hire, depending on how you onboard her or him, will quit mentally within hours, or like I said, a day, 3 days, or a week. They're gone mentally. Their body might stay there for 30, 60 days, but they're gone. Don't let that happen. Let's put, if they're good enough to hire, they're good enough to keep. Like I say so often, did you hire him dead or did you kill him after you got him?